What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we are going to compare the new Samsung Galaxy A57 to the kind of old, I guess, Samsung Galaxy S25 FE. These are both not quite flagship phones. The new A57 is the latest top-tier A-series device, which are the budget and mid-range phones that Samsung sells. And this S25 FE is last year's Fan Edition that does share the S-series name and is kind of considered an S-series phone, but it's not officially one of the flagships since it's cheaper and has fewer features and lesser specs. Both of these phones are the other options. If maybe you don't want to spend a ton of money or don't need the over-the-top features and specs, but still want a solid and familiar Samsung smartphone that's plenty powerful and that will be supported with software updates for years to come. They're both great options for what they are, but to be honest, I don't think I'd buy either one of them, which might spoil the whole video here, but let me take a second to explain. For one, there is so much overlap between these two phones that any difference on the spec sheet or that you might try and pick out visually with the hardware just so insignificant that they're hardly a deal breaker or deal maker either way. Also, neither one of these phones is actually that cheap, and you could, for example, just get last year's actual flagship S25 used or renewed via Amazon for less than either one of these non-flagship phones. There's some complexity to the pricing argument I'll talk more about, but the bottom line is that the immense similarities here between these two phones, which you're about to see, really is a detriment to both of them. And I think most people would be better off with last year's actual flagship. But that's not what we're talking about here. Assuming you are stuck with just these two as an option, the real question is, which one do you pick? And if you just want to know what I think up front, my choice, surprisingly, is probably the FE, even though nobody remembers this poor phone, and it's not as good of an FE as previous year's FEs. I just think that the very few extras this phone does offer, and what little has changed on the A57 year over year, make the FE still the slightly better device overall, or better value, even for the extra dollars you might spend on it. So let me first talk a little bit more about pricing, since that's likely the first thing you'll be thinking about with these phones anyway. This new A57 literally just came out last week, and its full retail price is $549. That's more expensive than last year's model. And while we'll probably see some deals and discounts from carriers and likely Samsung themselves as we head into the summer months, I'll just use that full retail price as the anchor for now, since it's technically official and accurate currently. The S25 FE, you guys might remember, launched last September, so it's 7 or 8 months into its life cycle now, and it was originally priced at $649, so $100 more. But since it's been out for a while, Samsung is actually offering this phone now for just $499, and you can find it used or renewed on places like Amazon for well under $400 now. Doing a price-to-price comparison with a brand new phone and one that's almost at the end of its release cycle is a bit unfair, I'll give you that, but if you just want to go off of the official Samsung.com buy it now prices, this FE at the time of recording this video is $50 cheaper than this just released A57. So if you had to buy one of these phones today at what is the full retail price from Samsung, I think you'd obviously have to pick the S25 FE, wouldn't you? Now, frankly, if you tossed both these phones into a bag and picked one out at random, assuming they were the same color at least, it would be very hard to tell which one you grabbed. They're both 6.7-inch smartphones, sort of the standard issue size for a Samsung right now, and they have pretty much identical screen designs. Slim bezels all around with a teeny tiny chin, a hole punch selfie camera up top that looks the same, and an 89% screen to body ratio if you round to the nearest whole number. I mean, seriously, from the front, these are the exact same phones. Around back, things are a little different. These are both built from the premium materials, Gorilla Glass Victus Plus all around, the back panel and the front glass. They're finished off with an aluminum frame. The FE has the raw bare metal, while the A57 is a color-matched finish. Obviously, the A57 is also way glossier, while the FE is a matte glass, which I very much prefer. The camera circles are different in design, sort of, but not too different in spec, believe it or not. This is just a product of Samsung switching up the camera module physically or design-wise every other year to look different for some unknown reason. But even here, unless you know every single Samsung phone specifically, I doubt you could tell which one is which just by glancing at them. They're both IP68 water resistant as well, so there is really no physical advantage or worthwhile difference in the design or build of either one. The only other thing I'll say is that Samsung says that one of the features of this new A57 is its thinness. And yeah, it's 0.5 millimeter thinner than the S25 FE, and you can kind of sort of feel that a little bit, but I would hardly call it a difference, and I certainly wouldn't classify it as a feature. All in all, these are basically one and the same Samsung phones physically. There's nothing on the left side of either one. On the right, the same volume and power buttons with just a little design difference here on the A57. Nothing really up top, and at the bottom, literally the exact same USB-C port, SIM card trays, and main loudspeakers. Neither one of these supports a micro SD card. They both have a dual physical SIM card tray with eSIM internally, and probably most surprising, both these phones start at 128 gigabytes of storage, with the option to spec up to 256 gigabytes or 512 gigs in some regions. But for a vast majority of people, you'll have just the two lesser storage choices. And you'll basically have just one RAM option, 8 gigabytes. There's allegedly a 12 gig RAM model of just the A57 somewhere out there, but I haven't seen it. So to keep things simple, I'm going to say that the storage and RAM options here are shockingly the same, which is crazy, mainly when you're looking at the S25 FE, which is supposed to be the more expensive, higher tier device, but you literally don't get any more storage or any more RAM, which is a bit of a bummer. You also don't get any different of a fingerprint sensor, which is more a slight towards the FE, but honestly at this point, the A57 should have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor too. The difference in unlocking speeds that favor the FE, you might see here, are more so due to the phone's faster processor, which I'll talk about in a second. That's the biggest internal or performance difference, really the only difference if we're being honest. But up to this point, these phones have been more or less totally identical inside and out. Something people seem to be particular about when picking apart any differences between phones like these is the display and the viewing experience. So let's talk about that now. And frankly, even if you're the pickiest person on earth, I can't imagine justifying the subtle differences here either. Like I mentioned earlier, both phones offer a 6.7-inch screen. They are both AMOLED panels. They're both 2340 by 1080 resolution for some 385 pixels per inch, and they offer the option to enable a 120 Hz high refresh rate. From a normal viewing distance, there is no difference at all. But technically, the S25 FE has a better dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2X panel, while the A57 has a lesser Super AMOLED Plus display. What does that mean in real terms? It just means that the S25 FE might look a little brighter, a little more vibrant, with more inky blacks, perhaps more accurate, showcasing more colors, and it may also look more fluid and more smooth with its adaptive refresh rate as you touch and swipe around the phone. But the FE doesn't actually offer a higher peak brightness, at least on the spec sheet, and unless you're viewing select HDR content, you probably won't experience noticeably brighter or more colorful visuals. I mean, maybe if you look really closely, the FE kind of looks a tiny bit better, but I would argue this is more of a spec sheet enhancement or marketing jargon than a real-world upgrade. Both phones have great screens for what they are, And Samsung had to make the FE better in some way, which they did, so I'll give them credit. I don't know if the A57 could have been improved any further at this point. I mean, generally, these phones have the best non-flagship screen specs before you get into QHD resolution or 144 Hz or the special features like the privacy display on the new Ultra. Maybe for the pickiest people, this is a worthwhile difference, but for me, if I'm looking at the same thing on both phones, they look the same to me. Maybe I just have bad eyes. Also, no surprise here, but the out loud listening experience is the same on both these phones too. I would be willing to bet that the speaker setups are the same, they sound good, no complaints, but flipping back and forth between them here, I literally can't tell them apart at all. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. The last 10 minutes and 36 seconds of this video could have been summed up in one sentence. These phones are basically the same, but we're now going to talk about an actual difference between them. One of essentially just two major differences that separates the S25 FE from the A57. Powering the FE is Samsung's own Exynos 2400 processor. It's the only chipset choice for this phone. It actually wasn't even new when the FE was announced. This component was released in January of 2024, and it's Samsung's sort of equivalent to a flagship powerhouse. It's most closely comparable to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but it's not exactly identical. Some folks still complain about Exynos, and while I think Samsung's chips have improved over the last 2 or 3 years, my bigger issue is that this phone simply does not have the exact same flagship processor as its flagship namesake like the original FEs had in years past. The new A57, on the other hand, also received a Samsung chip, the all-new Exynos 1680, which was launched just in this phone for the time being, but it's not a flagship chipset, and instead, it's still that mid-range or upper mid-range processor that Samsung likes to stick inside these A-series phones. Here are the up-to-date Geekbench scores for these phones, so you can compare the numbers here and perhaps against your phone at home. Also note, both these phones do have 8 GB of RAM, so these speed tests here in just a moment, we're really just going to be testing out the processors, and I guess the software, because surprisingly, the A57 is on One UI 8.5, while the FE still doesn't have the latest Samsung update. That is kind of sad because, again, the FE is technically supposed to be an S series, kind of, and One UI 8.5 has been out now since late February or early March, and they're still pushing beta updates for the S25 series. I don't know how much weight the latest One UI update has when we're looking at the A57. I mean, neither one of these phones sees the newest Galaxy AI and other software upgrades from the actual new S26 flagships, but still, I feel like the FE is at a slight disadvantage here. I think what's more surprising to me, frankly, is just the fact that while the S25 FE is faster to launch and load just about everything, it's not faster 100% of the time, and it's not faster in such a significant way that the A57 looks slow, or that you'd be getting some big huge advantage with the FE as you go about your day. Even launching some gaming apps, the FE might get you in a couple seconds earlier, if that, but there's no actual difference in performance, or even in outright speed, that makes me think the S25 FE is significantly better. The thing about raw performance comparisons nowadays is that every modern phone is generally fast, at least the mid-range and upper tier ones. And year over year, phones don't get 2 times faster or 2 times more powerful. They usually get some percent faster, 10, 20, or 30% faster. And between different tiers of smartphones, it's the same story. So if we say the S25 FE is at most 20 or 30% faster or more powerful, well, faster than fast is still fast, and you can see very little real-world difference between these two phones. You're also not getting any different brand of processor. We aren't comparing Exynos to MediaTek or to Qualcomm. These are both modern 4nm processors with 8 cores in the A57 and 10 cores in the FE, with a bit better clock speed and GPU in the FE, but not so significant that the FE is going to blow you away. Is the FE the better phone, spec-wise and performance-wise? Yes. Solely because of its processor. But the RAM is the same, the storage is the same, it's a half update behind on software updates right now, and the chip inside is actually more than 2 years old. So you tell me, do all of those variables still make the S25 FE the decisively better phone performance-wise? I say tentatively yes, but I don't think it's as clear-cut as maybe it should be or could be. Something that isn't a huge surprise, I think, is the charging advantage in favor of the FE. Even though the A57 technically has a tiny bit larger size battery, an even 5,000 mAh to the FE's oddly specific 4,900 mAh, and both phones actually support the same 45-watt wired charging speeds, the FE supports 15-watt wireless Qi 2 charging and reverse wireless charging. The A-series phones have never offered any wireless charging. And while I don't necessarily feel like it's a flagship feature, it's a feature the flagship adjacent FE offers that the budget or mid-range A-series do not. You can let me know though if this is a firm extra point for the FE or something that doesn't make much of a difference. Finally, I sort of alluded to this earlier, but if your first thought was that the flagship-esque FE offered a much more flagship-like camera setup with a huge advantage over the paltry A-series, well, that's not exactly the case. These phones share quite a few similarities. The main lens on both phones is a 50-megapixel shooter with an f1.8 aperture and slightly different sensor, but not a huge difference to start. The secondary lens on the FE, I'll give it to you, is different. It's a telephoto lens, which yields you 3 times optical zoom and up to 30 times digital zoom. Abilities the A57 simply does not have. Both phones do offer 12-megapixel 123-degree ultra-wide lenses that are also much more similar than they are different and might actually be identical according to the spec sheets. But the third lens on the A57, rather than a telephoto, is instead the 5-megapixel macro that has been slapped on to many a budget and mid-tier phones over the years. Up front, both phones have similar or basically the same 12-megapixel selfie cameras, and inside the camera app, let me just fire off the big important differences, and then I'll show you some side-by-side picture samples. Like I mentioned, the zoom on the FE is significantly better. You get a 3x hardware optical zoom via the telephoto lens, and 30 times digital zoom, which is much further and more clear than just the 10 times zoom offered on the A57. I don't know if I'd use all that zoom all the time, but for the instances where you need it, the difference is drastic. You can also shoot 8K video on the FE, which arguably is a flagship feature, along with 4K at up to 60 frames per second. The A57 tops out at 4K 30, and while both phones have a 50-megapixel photo mode, the FE also has portrait video, dual selfie and rear lens recording, and single take, all of which are missing from the A57. There are also a couple more random settings differences and feature discrepancies here and there, but nothing so significant that it would impact your photos or videos. And when we actually look at a bunch of camera samples here, I think the closer you look, the better the photos from the FE tend to be. The A57 takes a great looking picture, but it looks more processed with less true detail, while the FE has a natural, balanced, and highly detailed result every time. I think there's a slight hardware advantage here, and I also think this phone's internal processor is doing more with the image to make it look better. Frankly, I also think Samsung is more focused on making the FE look better, since it's still an S-series phone in name, which obviously is a very camera-focused series of devices. The question is, do these better looking pictures and videos too move the needle towards the FE in a significant way? Maybe, but I think if you're super camera focused, wouldn't you instead opt for a true flagship phone or even an Ultra instead? I don't think the FE's camera is so significantly better that it's a must-have over the A57, but honestly, like I've said a few times now, I have a hard time justifying any of the differences with the FE at all. So here's the bottom line. For better or worse, Samsung has just so many smartphones in their lineup right now that there is a ton of overlap, and these two phones are the quintessential example of that very issue. On top of that, phones in general aren't that different and haven't improved that much over the last few years. So what we're left with is let's call it a $100 difference between phones that are marginally better on paper, on the spec sheet, but that don't yield big differences, upgrades, or enhancements in the real world. With the S25 FE, you do get a slightly better screen, a more powerful processor, wireless charging, and a better camera setup. The A57 has a new processor, and for some reason is a half a software update ahead of the FE. But the real mess up here is Samsung offering the FE for $500 right now. It's an older phone, so I guess it makes sense that the price has been cut, but it makes the A57 an impossible buy. Frankly though, both of these phones are bad buys, since they're basically the same, and you can still get a flagship phone for a similar price or cheaper. Those are all my thoughts, but what do you guys think? Which one would you choose if you had to pick, or would you even bother with one at all? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.